today on 15 on 15.
We have an update on the status of the mosquito-borne illness Zika in Aruba. Plus, this Aruban chef has earned 3 Michelin stars throughout his career. And this is the Faces of Aruba exposition in honor of the island's upcoming anniversary. Thank you for joining us on another edition of 15 on 15 right here on channel 15 ATV with Daniela Piazzi. First of all, I would like to wish you all a great start to the week. Let's get started with our latest local news topics. Over the past couple of weeks, international news outlets have shed a negative light on the spread of the Zika virus across the Western Hemisphere. Aruba, being mainly dependent on the tourism market, has been affected due to a variety of false statements of the current status of this mosquito-borne illness. We spoke with a representative of the Vector Action Team to get the real facts on Zika in Aruba. International news outlets have been bringing a great amount of concern on the status of the Zika virus here on the island. Some have called it an epidemic or an emergency situation, causing confusion and fear amongst the local community and potential visitors of the island. Clayton Cruz is currently the chairman of the Vector Control Unit, which has been monitoring the development of this mosquito-borne illness on the island.
Since the last announcement from the Public Health Department, we can say that there have been 3 additional confirmed cases. These, I must state, are locally transmitted cases that makes the total number of confirmed local Zika cases on Aruba to a total of 7. In total of confirmed cases, we can state that there's been a total of 14 confirmed cases of Zika on Aruba, from which 7 were imported from places like Colombia, Venezuela, and Brazil, and the other 7 are confirmed local cases.
On February 11th, the first 4 imported cases of the Zika virus were announced in Aruba. Just a week later, an additional 7 cases were reported. Although this was a cause for alarm at first, these numbers have diminished greatly with the past 3 weeks with just an addition of 3 cases.
This addition of 3 additional cases is not something to be alarmed about. If we compare it to the last year when we had the similar situation with chikungunya, that the amount of cases it quickly became a problem, and this is still not the case for the Zika. It's been going slowly, but we must say surely, and that is because of the problem with the Zika that only 20% of infected people do show symptoms about the Zika. So the other 80% that do get infected continue to transmit this disease without even noticing any changes.
The Vector Control Unit has been very active in preventing measures ever since. With the launch of the swipe action, large quantities of potential breeding places were eliminated in the past couple of weeks. Projects such as this one have had a positive effects in the past, such as the chikungunya issue in 2015.
Since the introduction of the swipe action that is going on for the last 2 weeks on the island, we have detected we have prevented many potential breeding places that have been found and eliminated during this action, and also a couple of active breeding sites for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. We must say that during the first week of the action, we can state that there's been a total of 57 homes found with positive breeding sites for the Aedes aegypti, and these have been dealt with accordingly. We must say that this is the same measures that were used during the chikungunya situation, the same protocol, and we hope that it has the same positive effect.
Moving forward, after a thorough inspection of the 4th and final addition to the Aruba fleet of streetcars, the bright red double-decker tram will now be able to safely serve to Aruba's visitors. A 7-day inspection and assembly led by TGIM manufacturer and company executive Alvaro Avila now gives the green light for this self-sustainable trolley to hit the Aruban rails. This thorough checkup was executed by 4 European inspectors, which approved the emergency features, brakes, software, and battery lifespan. What makes this streetcar unique is the absent cables up top, and it is a self-sustainable vehicle with zero emissions. With just one battery charge, this transportation device can run for up to 20 hours, fitting perfectly into Aruba's green vision for 2020. And although their technology is advanced, their heritage-like antique style gives them a rather quaint feeling. Aruba's downtown tram project has been an inspiration for many large cities around the world. Ever since the debut of this concept on the island, the manufacturer TGIM has gained international recognition and has been asked to mimic the concept in states around the world. We'll be back with more 15 on 15 after a quick commercial break. When we come back from the break, meet Francois Hertz, the Aruban-born Michelin awarded chef. Thank you for staying with us right here on Channel 15 ATV. During our recent visit to the Netherlands, the Minister of Tourism Otmar Odeberg met a very unique Aruban chef. Francois Hertz has already received Michelin stars in 2 out of his 3 restaurants in the region. Francois Hertz is an Aruban master chef, which has gained success in the Netherlands. He is the only chef in the Netherlands with 2 restaurants both carrying Michelin stars. In his career, he has worked at world-renowned restaurants in New York, Italy, the Netherlands, and was the sous chef of the Fat Duck in London when it was known to be the best restaurant in the world. FG, his restaurant in Rotterdam, is a fine dining restaurant that was awarded 1 Michelin star in 2010 and his second in 2014. It was awarded 17.5 out of 20 points. The term Michelin star is a hallmark of fine dining quality. They are the best known and most highly respected of all restaurants' ratings. Restaurant growers across the world trust in them as a mark of quality more than any other reward or rating. For chefs, Michelin stars are the ultimate accomplishment. Chef Francois also opened the first culinary laboratorium in the Netherlands named Food Labs, which received its first Michelin star just 6 months after its opening. Chef Francois also mentioned the possibility of also opening a restaurant in his home country of Aruba. On another note, the Aruba Island rattlesnake is one of the rarest rattlesnakes in the world. Its short and stocky looking body has an overall brown color and a lighter brown tall tip, and its scaly skin has distinctive pink, blue, and brown diamond-shaped markings. And they are even becoming more endangered each and every day. During a recent NBC broadcast, this reptile was showcased at a riverbank zoo in South Carolina.
We had a large eastern diamondback rattlesnake and a couple other rattlesnakes. Now we have another one, and we're going to do something similar, but this one's different. It's smaller and critically endangered, correct? Tell us about the Aruba Island rattlesnake.
This is our Aruba Island rattlesnake, and as the name implies, it's only found on the island of Aruba, which is a small desert island off the coast of Venezuela. So it's very low, gets very little rainfall, and it's actually very desert-like. So this exhibit actually depicts what Aruba looks like. It's lots of spiny vegetation, very few trees. And the snake, which is a very light pastel color, is the same color of the environment that it lives in. So snakes try to mimic their environment, so it's their camouflage works better. And that snake, if it was in Aruba, would be very, very hard to see.
Blending in with the sand, the dirt, the rocks, the light-colored trees.
Exactly. And even though this is a critically endangered species, it's actually a conservation success story because the Arubians love this snake. They set aside 19% of the island as a national park for this snake. They have a program to restore the habitat to the way it used to be, removing the goats that have destroyed a lot of it. And they put it on their $20 bill, their 20 florins note. They love it so much, they say, let's put this rattlesnake on our money. So, and they have a completely different attitude about the snake than we do in the United States, where we tend to hate snakes and hate rattlesnakes. In Aruba, they love their rattlesnake.
I don't think I've ever heard a venomous animal being thought of so highly, but hey, good for the Aruba rattlesnake. So tell me how this one is a little bit different than maybe the eastern diamondback we looked at a few weeks ago.
Well, it's much smaller. So animals that tend to live on islands where there's limited resources, and there was only one type of mouse that used to live on the island, so it didn't have a lot to eat. And so the snake has become smaller because of that.
Venom still very highly.
It's still a rattlesnake. It still has a pretty potent venom. No, it doesn't feed on big nasty things like squirrels or things that run off like rabbits, so the venom isn't quite as toxic as the canebrake rattlesnake or the diamondback from here in South Carolina.
But still nothing you want to mess around with. So we're going to do just like we did the rattlesnake. We're going to go back behind the scenes here and feed this rattlesnake. So here we go.
Oh, that was quick.
Should I let go? Or should I? She's still up there.
Yeah, you can. Do you see the rocks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can just set it right up there. That's
I dropped
fine.
it. That was very quick. You're right. All right, another meal was served. I jumped a little bit again. No matter how much you're prepared for it, they strike so fast, it makes you jump a little bit. So another very cool rattlesnake with a great story of conservation coming back in the wild on the island of Aruba. Thanks for joining us here on Wild Encounters.
Moving forward, this is your last week to join the straw hat braiding workshop at the Historic Museum of Aruba. You don't want to miss out on this culture-rich opportunity. The National Museum Foundation, together with Craft, have joined forces to bring back a piece of the island's past. They have created a program of monthly workshops open to the public at Fort Zoutman. Their first project will be the craft of straw hats. Starting approximately in 1905, the braiding of straw hats was practiced by hundreds of Aruban women. The creation of this industry was the second largest income for the island. Beginning in March, these foundations will team up with an organization specialized in these hats from Ecuador to educate the Aruban population of this tradition. To sign up, you can visit the Cosecha building in the downtown area. The braiding professional Sven Hogerhout will be holding this workshop on the island. We'll be back with more English news after a word from one of our sponsors. When we come back from the break, photographer Raymond Rutter debuts Aruba's beauty in a whole new way.
A magical legend started over 100 years ago. When, to keep his best wines from disappearing, Don Melchor de Concha y Toro spread the word that the devil lived in his cellar. Casillero del Diablo, wine legend.
Thank you for staying with us right here on Channel 15 ATV. In honor of Aruba's upcoming big anniversary celebrating 30 years of its status apart, the Dutch photographer Raymond Rutter showcased the island's beauty in a whole new way. Instead of focusing on Aruba's picturesque sceneries, the highlight of this exposition was the island's people, therefore naming this exposition Faces of Aruba. Over the course of this weekend, Aruban officials traveled to the Netherlands for a rather special exhibition in honor of Aruba. The exposition, which is dedicated to the upcoming celebration of Aruba's 30th anniversary of its status apart, was photographed by Dutch artist Raymond Rutter, illustrating the island's beauty from a different point of view. Instead of showcasing the island's beauty through its variety of beach sceneries and attractions, he highlighted Aruba's natives. Protagonists of his portraits range from iconic members of our community, outstanding youngsters, accomplished professionals, and the island's older generation. 30 faces representing the 30 years of this big celebration. The Hilversum Museum, together with the Aruba Huis, joined forces to present this expedition to the Dutch and Aruban officials alike were presenting during this evening, showcasing that the union between these two countries still remains stronger than ever. Thank you so much for watching. These were your local news updates and trending Aruba topics. Be sure to like our 15 on 15 Facebook and Instagram page for all of your latest news updates. Also, don't forget to tune back in tomorrow night at 7:15 p.m. for more 15 on 15 right here on Channel 15 ATV. See you then.